And we're off. Hello and welcome to we've done it 3 weeks in a row, guys. We are the
Yeah,
bosses. We are the
we've got nothing
bosses.
better to do.
I know. Self-isolation week 3. It's funny that it kind of we were planning on doing weekly podcasts before this isolation. It just so happened to coincide with this.
Yeah, just funny how that works out.
It was giving
Kind of
us
being forced to keep this going.
a helpful start to
I
our
wouldn't call.
weekly.
Well, that's not
Well,
quite how I'd put it.
well, for this at least, a helpful weekly start. But yeah. So I guess let's kick it off. I mean, it's been 10 years, 10 years since Matt Smith's debut episode, 11th Hour, the 11th Hour, and that takes me back. I can't believe it's been 10 years. Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does seem quite distant from my perspective. I mean, I don't know if I would have said it was 10 years, but it does still feel like a long time ago. Like, I think there are a lot of things that happened in that between that time and now.
uh,
But I mean, watching it back, it doesn't feel like. I mean, it could have been filmed recently, and you wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean its quality is really, really solid, isn't it? Like its visuals are pretty,
Well, I mean,
except
some of
maybe
the
some of the
CG's a
CG,
little
but like that's the
Prisoner
one thing.
Zero.
Yeah, it was interesting actually in Stephen Moffat's tweet along. Um, he was saying that their Prisoner Zero teeth they just couldn't get to track the mouth at all, so they added a bit of shake in the camera, like before press launch, just to make it a bit better. So there we go. There's a bit of
Yeah, it
tidbits.
still looks rough.
It does for good old Prisoner Zero. But I mean I think I remember just the whole build up to it, because I remember kind of around that time, 2009 to 2010, my two pet guinea pigs died, and that really hit me hard back in year 7, like really hard, and because it was the first thing actually that was close to me that died. I
Mm.
haven't really had any family members die yet, even now, of any closeness
Neither.
to me.
So.
So it's like a bit worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like,
But
when's it gonna hit?
yeah, it's like, oh god, like it's a bit better if it happens when you're younger, maybe, like when
Prepare yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, now it's gonna hit me at a time where I'm trying to like job and career, and it's like, yeah, it's a horrible thing. But anyway, yeah, I got really kind of down and um pretty depressed by it all, and I became very like thinking about death, and like it was a very depressing time. But Doctor Who and this new series was like the light. Like that was the thing that was really pulling me through. Actually, this like brand new series, and I became obsessed with this series. Like series 5 is the series I got the most obsessed with. It was when I really started to like go online and vigorously try and find Doctor Who and find every breakdown of the trailer. And I remember before the 11th Hour like came on TV, they were releasing tiny little short videos about how they were making the opening crash scene where the TARDIS is flying over London. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I would get up at 6 a.m. to watch these. I was getting so dedicated to Doctor Who at this point, and it was. I mean, I'd loved Doctor Who, the past 5 years at this point, but this was a weird like. It became like a weird obsession. Like I would watch the trailer over and over and over. The one where they fall into the vortex, and then the series trailer. Like I can still do the whole music like in my head off by heart. I can remember so much of that trailer. And I was getting so excited for the Smilers, which was a big oof of a disappointment when they turned out
Yeah.
to be what they were. But like, I
Mm.
was so hyped for this series. Like I was unbelievably. I was watching. I remember I'd recorded the end of time, and I'd just watch Matt Smith's first like 60 seconds as the Doctor over and over and over and over, just on this TV, just trying to pick up every detail. And yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting. Like I said, I think I've mentioned before, but I had that kind of internet session kind of earlier on. So like I think I started to do a lot of that series 2, 3, 4. Certainly during the specials, I was on like browsing stuff a lot,
Yeah,
and, like looking deeply for like any information I could find about any of the specials. What are the rumors? What is and I was really kind of into it. Um, and then of course, they announced Doctor Change and everything, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. And then they announced Matt Smith, and I was a bit confused considering so many like big names have been like thrown up for the role, and like the fact that nobody knew who he was like initially, yeah, of course, a little bit concerning because like you don't know what you're gonna get with Matt Smith because basically, unless you were a really big fan of Party Animals or whatever else it was that he was in beforehand, it you weren't quite sure what you were gonna get. I remember I watched the cinematic trailer a fair few times too in the Vortex. I do remember it vividly. I can't say I remember the music quite to the extent that you do, but and then I watched upon the first watch the 11th hour, like I enjoyed it definitely, and I remember I talked to people about it a bit, but I guess for me it's like we weren't talking at that point, and I think I briefly talked about it with others, but unlike what I'd had in the previous series, because of course we're at new school, new everything, I didn't quite have that discussion point at that point. I didn't have an outlet the way I used to. So I guess upon my first watch about most of Series 5, it was not quite as close to me as the previous seasons had been. It didn't like hook me, I guess, in the same way as you've been describing. Clearly it left enough of an impact on me because I spent enough of my money to like buy literally the whole like first series collection of the BBC books of it, which I still have. I have quite
I can see him in the background.
I think most. I have a lot of Matt Smith books. I do have a fair few David Tennants too. Although, of course, my collection is overwhelmingly Target novels. But in terms of the modern series Doctors, I have like more Matt Smith than anybody. Which is interesting because, it's like certainly the series, as it kind of went along, I soured a little bit and kind of started to look at things more negatively. But it was like, like upon my first watch, I enjoyed this. I do still think I need to watch the whole thing again and get like a fresher perspective on it because I do think certain parts of it got soured, at least internally, by things that came later. And as I said, lack of any sort of significant like excitement collective around me kind of affected how I felt about the series as a whole. Like I do remember talking to people about like, well, what do we think about the crack and what's this, what's that. It did bring up a lot of mysteries, but like I said, it wasn't quite as big for me as it had been previously, I guess. But yeah,
that's fair.
Kind of my perspective on the series.
Thing is, I completely agree with that, and that's why I think when it came to Series 6, I kind of sought out the outlet, which was you in our year group, to just discuss things like to a further. Because I remember at my old school, which was, so I moved to Morehouse, our school in like the year of 2008, I think. Yeah, it was 2008. So Series 4 was kind of happening, and things were big. But yeah, Doctor Who was a big talking point on the playground. But I think people then hit secondary school, and a lot of people kind of that's like I'm growing up now, and then a lot of people found like David Tennant leaving as a step off point as well. I know a lot of people left at that point. And it was a complete tonal change of a show, but you got to hand it to Stephen Moffat. It works so well as Doctor Who, like his tone, whether the series 6 and 7 aren't as strong as series 5. Series 5 is definitely the strongest of the Matt Smith seasons in my opinion. I think it just hands down is.
Like I think my favorite stories might be in the later ones, but it's the most consistent.
Yeah,
I'd definitely say.
And it's a series I could watch all the episodes in. Yes, there'd be some where I'd be like, it's okay, but I could happily watch Series 5, start to finish. I could marathon all of them. There wouldn't be any I'd be like, I'll just skip this one. Like maybe Let's Kill Hitler, or it's like those ones are kind of ones I'm like, I'll just skip this one. But like for Series 5, I just sit through because like the Beast Below, it's so early on, you can kind of like get it out the way, and then you just got kind of quite good. Like the Silurian is a massive retread, but it's still actually solid TV. Like it's still got its enjoyable bits. But it's out of all the Matt Smith series, it's the one I could watch start to finish. But I think Series 5 was a massive like helping me cope with kind of just all the emotions I was seeing at the minute. You know, it does deal with like the loss of people
and more of an emotional connection to the series.
And like so in some ways it's kind of strange that and also like David Tennant dying because my first guinea pig died in like December, like I think December like 13th, and then my second one on the 9th, so it was like losing David Tennant as the Doctor. It was like it was a big expression, and I still like cry watching the End of Time Part 2, but I think maybe more because of my like association of emotions to what I was feeling at the time. Like I mean, I was sad when Christopher Eccleston went, but I never had like the connection was maybe, I don't know, stronger. I'm only thinking about this now, that maybe actually the only reason I find David Tennant as sad, I would have found it sad regardless. I found Matt Smith sad, but maybe it's because it landed kind of perfectly in that time of change and losing ones that you kind of love, like kind of my childhood Doctor. Kind of, it's weird, like you kind of connect because we had Chris for such a short amount of time. It's like our first Doctor is 9/10 because it's like that era is so similar. Like, you know, there was no kind of change to how the story was being told, because it was very much Rose was kind of that pillar of consistency for series 1 and 2 for viewers, at least, because then the Doctor suddenly changed. It was like, oh, okay, so we kind of latched onto Rose a bit more, like as especially as a viewer, like because we got introduced to the series through Rose, then suddenly she was the only thing pretty much staying normal and everything that surrounded her, which is why I think so many people got sad when then Rose left at the end of series 2, because we latched onto her.
Outright, like it's so kind of drama, kind of,
but it's like we latched onto her. That was kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I think series 5 actually has a really huge special place in my heart. Then there was also the character building. Like they were like kind of Lego rip-offs, really. These character building ones, but I'd always wanted Lego Doctor Who, and these character building, you know, mystery bags came out at the same time as you know, series 5, so I was really excited about that, and all the merch was on point.
I mean, I collected a few of those. I think you might have even
I can see a couple in the back,
probably the Cybermen. But I was always more interested in the 5-inch figures. I mean, that had been always what I collected throughout like the David Tennant era. And all the way up to Matt Smith, because I did get some early on. So I have like, I think so in the loft, I have like a normal Matt Smith. I have an Amy. I have a couple of them here actually. I don't need to change. Like I got this. Like I'm not too fond of the redesigns, but it's actually really like well, you know, made like
Dalek,
rendition of it. Like it's the only Dalek I think I have which hasn't had its eye stalk or plunger snapped off in the years since. And I have this, although this is a series 6 one. I just figured I'd show it because of his kind of very derpy face almost. I don't know if it focused, but this one I got later, of course, because he had the cowboy hat and everything. But for me it was exciting to get for the prospect of more of those merchandise, though I didn't end up collecting a tremendous amount of them. And of course that would trickle out as they also slowly trickled out the 5-inch line and sort of kind of replaced them with the 3.75-inch line until they sort of kind of brought back the 5-inch ones.
It was weird.
They do them in kind of limited kind of offside kind of thing. So they still make them, but they're not like the focus, I guess. Not like they used to be. I think around this time was around when they started introducing the classic figures too, and I was really big on that more than anything. Like the classic figures, the original waves, and the Cyberman line was like, oh my goodness, this is the coolest thing. And Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. I remember actually keeping like before saying that I kind of got into the internet and Doctor Who and avidly searching it out. It was maybe actually now thinking about it more before the Waters of Mars, after the Planet of the Dead, but before Waters of Mars, because I watched that trailer a lot. I remember because it freaked me out so much, but I kind of like the thrill of watching it and it's scaring me, and that's when I saw the End of Time trailer, which they showed at Comic-Con, showing the Master returning before even the Waters of Mars had come out, and I was like, how is there a next time trailer? This is against the rules. Next time trailer only comes after the episode. So it blew my mind. I don't really know of these things like Comic-Con, all these things and all this like kind of side of things that I never really knew happened. And yeah, like the whole launch of Series 5 I was following so closely. I remember Matt Smith took it to like the school he used to go to, and they got to see the 11th hour early, and I was like, what the fuck? Why couldn't you come to our school? Logically I was like, well, he didn't come here, but it's like, screw those guys. They earned it by just going to the school. Stupid petty crap. But yeah, I remember. And then my dad got fucking drunk and started making shitty jokes while we were watching the 11th hour. And I still fucking pissed off at him for that, because I literally told him to piss off. I was so invested in watching the episode. It was the bit, where Matt Smith, with his Sonic, the Matt Smith Sonic opens up a crack in the wall. My dad, he had like 2 glasses of wine before it. He went out and got my bloody Tennant Sonic screwdriver, and as Matt Smith did it, he like leaned forward and did it. It was like, I did that. I was like, Dad, stop it. I was taking it so seriously. Like, in hindsight, it's funny, but like, bloody hell, he pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
Like, I'd been building this up for months, so my dad was cracking
just like that
awful dad jokes, and it was like, Jesus.
To be honest, I don't remember my first time watching it exactly. I don't always remember my experience of things after the fact. So, I mean, you would have thought for something like 11th Hour you would, but no.
It's kind of it's dependent on what episodes I guess you were holding and such. Like, I built this up from like January to series. Like we hadn't had a series. I was coping with all these emotions, so I was building up this episode, and that's probably why, for me, it's. Because it does land and it is solid TV, maybe to other people it's just, maybe a 7. Like, a solid, it's a good episode, but to me it's like 8, 9, because like it delivered on everything that I wanted in that moment, and it was a kind of a difficult time in my life where I was, coping with a lot of emotions and didn't really know how to cope with them. And it did deliver, like, and even to the fact where I didn't find Beast Below as much of a disappointment as now I have in later years, but at the time I was like, okay, it was okay. I thought at the time.
I remember ranting about it to people at the time.
I mean, it was also the day before my birthday, so I was trying to not let it like shit on my birthday. Yeah.
And I remember, we mentioned about some of the merchandise, but they really did push a lot at that point in time in particular, like, as this massive relaunch. So they really did go out of the way. Like, there were games, and there was all sorts of other weird curiosities that Character were doing, and other companies were doing as well, just to kind of push Doctor Who. I mean, I don't think it's the hardest push. I mean, that would be the 50th, but
that was great.
I don't think since Series 2 had I seen such a tremendous push of Doctor Who merchandising in the way that they had during Series 5.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a stronger. I mean, like, pushing the new logo, the new Sonic. I remember on my birthday, we went up to Hamley's to try and get me a Sonic, and there wasn't one. And I was like, oof.
Oh.
And I never got one in the end. I never got a Matt Smith Sonic. That was like the one-time try, and just I was pretty happy with my Tennant one. To be fair, I still, looking back, I think it's Tennant's one is the one I like the most.
Yeah, well, mine's just still in pieces upstairs. Like, it hasn't. Like, I had it literally since like about Series 2, but it's seen better days. The only 2 I have currently sitting there are my third Doctor one, and next to it is my laser screwdriver. because they're the only two that work properly now. Oh, sorry.
No, I've got a fourth and War Doctor one, but they're both sealed. I kind of haven't wanted to open them because they're like nice package.
I still want to get a fourth Doctor one just to go along with the costume. I do, yeah. At some point, just to fit in.
Yeah, it's just I got that. I got both of those in a mystery box actually at like a Comic-Con, I think.
Yeah, I blimmin' remember that because you got the last one. God damn it!
Oh yeah, and then you got
a bunch of junk which I didn't want. I can't sell because nobody wants to buy them, and so I've been stuck with this blimmin' Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade cane thing sitting in my wardrobe for the last 4 years. And like I wanted to sell the rest of it. I put them on eBay multiple times, but like I got blimmin' Ninja Turtles glasses, which ended up like just being part of the household until eventually they were like put through the proper dishwasher, like which they're not supposed to because nobody paid attention to the instructions, so they've all been wiped and they're just now normal clear glasses. I have this weird scarecrow keychain thing sitting over there, which is kind of hideous, but again, I don't know what to do with it. And I ended up giving my sister this weird pink pillow. Like, it's a bunch of junk.
So,
like,
yeah.
I didn't have to do with it. If anyone wants to buy that Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade cane, please contact me. I want to get rid of it.
Sponsored by Assassin's Creed cane. But, like, yeah, just for reference, so there were these mystery boxes at Comic-Con, and there were these TARDIS boxes. And basically, there was one Doctor Who one left. Like, in these boxes are mystery items. You don't know what you're going to get. There's, like, 10 items. They could be...
these massive blimmin' boxes as well.
And,
like, we had to hold it like this the whole way through Comic-Con.
It was awful. We really should have bought a locker room to put them down in. But, hey-ho. But anyway, at the end, like, there was only one Doctor Who one left. And, obviously, I quickly said that one. But I think you hadn't quite grasped that you're...
No, I did. I knew it was going to be a general pop culture one, but I was hoping there'd be enough in there to where, like, like a lot of pop culture. It'll be fine. If at least half of this is worth, anything to me, then I'm happy. But none of it was worth anything to me. Literally none of it. It was worthless. It was a terrible investment. I couldn't get any of that money back because nobody wanted it.
Yeah. Next time we'll...
I'm not buying another mystery box.
What happens if it was a definite Doctor Who one? Would you get it?
Probably not.
Because my one ended up pretty good. I got like I got Doctor Who phone case, which still...
I mean, he gave a couple of them to me, I think, because he gave me... What was it? If I can find it. He gave me the terrible headphones.
Oh yeah, the Doctor Who headphones. Oh, that's because I got like 2 sets, didn't I?
Something like that. Yeah, it was... No, you only got... So it was this.
Yeah.
And these are the most comfortable things in the world. Like, so I haven't actually taken it out of its pot. And the other terrible one was... this off cardboard weeping angel. It's like not even cut out properly. Like you see like half the head's like still in the grey.
Nice.
It's like oddly proportioned, and it's like such a crap cheap thing.
Hey, I gave you that as a gift. How dare you? I spent money on that. Give it back. I want
then, take it.
I want my crappy weeping angel.
Fine. Take it.
I mean, I got some good stuff. I got like the TARDIS pillow. I got the 2 Sonics, which they add up actually. And I also got like the trans-dimensional Sonic, which is like your build your own Sonic thing.
Oh yeah.
Which I've seen that go for quite a bit. Can't remember if I sold it now. Maybe I did. I tried to maybe because I mean it's not part of the show history, so I was like, I could get like 30 quid out of that. But like people were buying them, but just maybe I put it too high, or maybe I changed my mind and took it off. Can't remember now. But yeah, no, I might do one again. But I'd make sure that we had somewhere to put it down. I remember the frickin' vultures though who came over. Do you remember when we were looking for our stuff and it was like, oh, I'll take anything if you don't want it.
Oh yeah,
fucking vultures, yeah, because they were just gonna sell it. It's like Jesus Christ, get some fucking standards and buy your own bloody box, you vultures.
Yeah, at least offer us money for it. You know?
I know.
Like, we'll take it.
Yeah, so you'll steal from me.
Yeah.
So like, it's I couldn't believe like I feel like it was like 2 or 3 people like just as we'll open them. Like, hi guys, anything you don't want? I'm like, fuck, like we're good, thanks. Fuck off, basically. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. If you're one of those people, don't do it. To anyone listening, don't be a vulture. Leave people alone. Let them be disappointed with their mystery boxes. And let them keep their Assassin's Creed staffs in their wardrobes for 4 years.
Gosh, as soon as I can get rid of that, the better.
I mean, you could just throw it away, like, at this point.
Probably. I still kind of hold out hope that maybe someday it'll go up in value and I can sell it. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Crazy times. We need to go to a Comic-Con again at some point. Obviously not this year, because they're cancelled. Maybe November.
Like, what was the last...
The last one was, I think, the Catherine Tate one. It was the last thing. No, the last one we went to Bedford. Charity Con 4.
Bedford after that, yeah.
That's the last thing.
Because I went to a lot of stuff on my own.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You haven't been to one since then?
Not since Bedford 4, which I think was 2018? Yeah, maybe 18. It wasn't last year, was it? Maybe it was. Actually, it might have been last year, 2019. Wait, is it 6 or 5 that they had to delay for Bedford?
I hang on.
I can't remember now.
I think I probably have.
If it's, I know we didn't go to 5, so if it's Bedford 6, then it'll be 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was probably 2018 because I think all the ones I did in 2019 were the ones I did on my own. So I went to Film and Comic-Con. I went to Film and Comic-Con. Then the day after, I went to the Who's at the Playhouse, and I went to another one around that time too. I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one specifically off the top of my head, but it was like a very busy weekend.
Yeah. I know. I'm not really someone who. I know. I wouldn't go alone to them. I always like sharing the memories with you.
It's less fun. Like, there's a satisfaction. Like, I just wanted the autographs and the, sometimes pictures. Because, I found that satisfying. But it is so much more... It's better when you're with somebody. And to be honest, at the end of... I think it... Specifically, it was TV, Film, and Comic-Con was like, this has been like hours standing in queue. Like, I ended up just chatting to you for most of that, like through Snapchat. I think for a considerable part of that was just like a back and forth. Like, yeah, I'm waiting for hours for Jenna Coleman, or I'm just standing here out the side, hoping in vain whether or not I'll be able to get Ian McDermott. But it's like, yeah, no, I don't think I'd. Maybe like a small signing, but I don't think I'll go to like a full-on Comic-Con on my own. I think again because like it's not fun. Like as much as I kind of enjoy, I like getting the signatures. I like meeting people. But it's like, does that really make up for the hours and hours of utter boredom, tiredom in this hot, sweaty hall? Like, it's an experience to be shared. I think.
I think it is because it's like being able to talk and express how you're feeling. Like, I know. I think
on a very rare occasion, I have somebody come up and talk to me, but I'm in queues and stuff. But like, I'm such an awkward person to talk to that you can't maintain it.
It is difficult when like a randomer starts talking to you. Yeah, because sometimes you're like just not in that zone, ready to talk to strangers as well.
Like, there's been a couple of nice conversations with people, but like for the most part, I'm just kind of
Fair enough.
So,
right,
it doesn't get any easier.
You know my day-to-day Doctor Who calendar. So for those who don't know, I got given at Christmas kind of a daily calendar where every kind of day is a different picture character, and basically for the first 12 kind of weekends, 13 weekends, it was all the Doctors. So I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. What are they going to do then after they've used up all the Doctors? Do you want to guess what they've done?
What have they done?
Freaking just recycled gone back to the fucking start. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's not enough characters in Doctor Who
They
to...
at least use a different image.
No, same image, I think.
Oh,
Same image
wow.
as... Let me check. A different quote, though. Oh, no, yes, it is a different image. Ah, okay, fine. I'll give him something. So that was the first one. And now, ooh. But his quote's a bit weird. Do you remember that classic time that he said yes, 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 yes?
That,
With no context, it sounds like a weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So for my calendar, like, because I got like a more standard calendar, you got one for Ryan, and it's very actually. If you can untangle my webcam, and it's very memorable quote of, "This is proper awesome." So, like, I definitely remember that line.
This is proper awesome.
Proper. Yeah, that angle. Yeah. The most memorable line in Doctor Who history. I remember when he said that was proper awesome. It made me feel a lot.
And just that quote goes to my soul. They have some really fucking weird quotes on this, honestly. Like, I think I had Yaz recently or something. Oh no, they don't have quotes, only the Doctors have quotes, because apparently they're the only ones with lines. Like, sometimes I'm like, come on, like, put a bit more effort into these. Like, if someone's designing these, like, they're making time, putting time apart. I don't know. Maybe they don't watch Doctor Who that much. These people who are made to design it, highly probable. But there's some really weird choices. Right, I want to know if you know who this character is. Right, okay. Eric.
Yeah, from yeah.
Where was he from?
Yeah. He was the
fucking
father.
the frog episode, right?
Yeah, from the blind girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was gonna say, like, who the fuck is Eric? It was just so random, like flicking through. I was like, who the fuck's Eric? Because it's just such a generic name as well. It's like, here's Fred, everyone's favorite Doctor Who character. See, they've done quite a good job, to be fair. Like, it was just Eric. I was like, who the hell's Eric?
Yeah. I mean, he was a pretty big part of that episode. So
yeah, for that episode. I mean, it was like Jennifer Lucas from the Rebel Flesh. She existed. But yeah, the Maya, like, companions and stuff. Vincent, historical characters. The adipose. That was a cute day.
Yeah.
Not that I was here for... No, I was here for that. That was the day. Yeah, a lot from, like, series, 11.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I couldn't believe it. They just recycling back to the start of the Doctors. I guess it's happy it's the weekend, living for the weekend.
Well, now they have an infinite amount of Doctors to put in that place.
Yeah, I mean, let's just put the Roof Doctor, and then this is the Jane Doctor, this is the Barry Doctor.
This is one of the ones that was used on the operating table, and here's another.
This is Tanet and Burr. Doctor, let's just go everything.
Here's Richard E. Grant's Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, he's now canon.
He's
canon now.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is now.
He's not.
He happened before it all happened.
No,
before
because the Master was in that episode.
I mean, the Master would have existed before.
No, but...
Actually, it's a robot Master, to be fair.
The She and the Shulker is still not canon, unfortunately. Because I actually kind of like the kind of feel it has, in a way.
It's a weird one.
And yet, yeah, and they had the Master, like, permanently, like, part of the TARDIS.
Yeah. Made as a robot.
It's kind of a prototype to what they did with Missy for a little bit, kind of, in
That's
a way.
probably where the inspiration came from, to be perfectly honest.
Probably was, yeah.
But yeah.
It's interesting. It's Swim and Shark is a really interesting, like, experiment, I guess, is the best way to put it.
It was an interesting return to Doctor Who after as many years of not doing it. But talking about returns, what a segue into Doctor Who Return of the Cybermen. Which, for those out there who don't know...
I mean, we don't usually cover a lot of big British topics. But
I think this is an interesting one enough to talk about. But, so basically, Tom Baker's first series, which is an absolute classic, you should definitely watch it if you haven't. Like, that's one of the best series out there of good television. Especially from, like, that era, if you want to go back in time and look back at kind of, series from times gone past.
Yeah.
Like season 12 is banging. Though I hate when I put season 12 in Google, it just comes up with series 12. Ugh.
Yeah,
Even
of
though I put
course.
season. You shits.
Anyway.
But yeah. So the last kind of story of Tom Baker's first season is Revenge of the Cybermen, which was written by Jerry Davis. But originally, his story was very, very different. So, Return of the Cybermen changed to Revenge of the Cybermen, and but finally they're gonna make Return of the Cybermen, which is hopefully a bit better than Revenge of the
Yeah.
Cybermen, because I think Revenge
Which is a shame
is the
because it was,
weakest of.
yeah,
It's
the
the
original
weakest.
story was mostly rewritten by Robert Holmes, and you would have thought he'd come up with something
Do
better,
it for the better, yeah. I mean, not everyone's always going to hit a home run.
No,
You know, it's
this is true.
impossible to
Though, I mean,
expect.
the other times he's like completely rewritten stories generally are a success. So like he took Brain and Morbius when Terrence Dicks originally wrote that was a completely different story that Robert Holmes kind of made his own, and that ended up becoming a classic. So that's kind of what's such a shame about Revenge of the Cybermen, kind of how it ended up.
I mean, they had to reuse the sets from Ark in Space, didn't they? Which is probably the reason quite a large amount of this was altered. So it was on, Station Nerva just to save budget, which they probably bloody saved tons, to be fair, doing that, like just reusing the same sets.
So
like,
they did have a whole different set for the planet, and they were filming on locations and stuff. I think it was. What's it?
even though like you're thinking like set
I think it might be
materials,
Cheddar Gorge or something. They filmed, didn't they? Part of that story, like on the boats.
but like you got to think about the space that they're building the sets and the time that it would take them to put down that set and build a new one, and yeah, like they would have saved regardless, because then you're paying construction workers materials and stuff. So even like going to film on location, they would have saved probably quite a bomb, to be fair. But finally, they're going to be making in audio form Return of the Cybermen with Tom Baker, and then Sadie Miller is coming in to kind of play the role of Sarah Jane, which obviously Sadie Miller is the daughter of Elizabeth Sladen. So I think that's quite nice, because
and this is interesting because she retired because she was acting beforehand, and actually she did some Big Finish work as well. I think even alongside her mother before she passed, and then she retired from acting at least for a while. So it's kind of interesting that she's coming back for this, but it's nice, in
a really nice way. It's like didn't like Sean Pertwee, hasn't he done stuff as the Third Doctor, or am I thinking wrong?
I don't recall him ever having done it, actually, but
maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Certainly I don't think he's because Big Finish has their own versions of the first, second, and third Doctor, and I don't think he does it for them. Certainly, I think they got somebody else to do John Pertwee, and I think Patrick Troughton still to this day is being done by Fraser Hines.
Yeah, good old Fraser. He was lovely meeting him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
What a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember who's doing the first Doctor. Although the person who does do the first Doctor for Big Finish did do the part for Day of the Doctor as well. The specific line the first Doctor did was done by the guy who does it for Big Finish.
Ah, nice. He did. I mean, he did a great impression.
So it's interesting because now they've also got, alongside the specific William Hartnell recreation, they're also doing like a series with David Bradley's first Doctor and the versions of alongside the people who played the companions in Adventure in Space and Time. They're actually playing those companions in the audio adventures, and so they basically got like a new cast in a way.
Do you know what I kind of would have preferred, though, is if they'd done more audio dramas set in that time, like set in the docudrama, of like the troubles that they went through, like on set, like more detailed stories about like on set issues and the struggles like that, which you could then listen to these in between Adventure in Space and Time, like dramatizing like the issues they went through, because they like skimmed over some like pinnacle things,
I think that's true. I don't know how well that would work as an audio drama.
It would be interesting, like maybe lots of short stories with the actors playing, Bradley Walsh playing William Hartnell. I mean, I love that docudrama to pieces. Like,
Yeah, it's great.
it's absolutely fantastic.
Big Finish always do such a good job. Like, yeah, I do like, of course, all their like the original stuff that they do. But yeah, the fact that they do go back and do things that go back and do unfinished stories or like unfinished series in some ways. So I got like actually I brought out the examples of a couple of the unmade of course the canon series. Got a couple of these. I don't know who signed this. Actually, this was one which I bought kind of pre-signed, so I actually literally, and I can't actually understand, like, I don't even know which way it's supposed to be, so it's like, okay. But yeah, it's interesting. I got a few lost stories like that. Not all the one. Actually, I was disappointed because they had like the planned third Patrick Troughton Ice Warrior story, which are going to set on Mars. I wanted to get that. But I accidentally somehow ordered the wrong thing, and I've ended up with this one.
Wait, what's that one?
It's a shame. The Queen of Time, apparently.
Oh. That's the second time you've accidentally done that. That takes you back to the Bedford Convention, where what is it? You thought you got the Time Warrior, but you got the Time Monster.
Which, to be fair, I like the Time Monster, but I didn't need it twice.
it was just great when you came up to me like, I got the Time Warrior. I was like, no, that's the Time Monster. And then you were like, oh.
Oh, yeah. But no, there's been a couple of interesting things about unmade stuff. So, like, there's also this, which was Tom Baker's script for, like, a Doctor Who movie, which he wanted to make. I haven't listened to this yet, because the runtime scares me, because apparently it's 8 hours, 40 minutes.
What the hell?
So, 8 discs. There's like 8 discs.
That's not a movie. That's like a bloody. That's the MCU.
I don't know if they got like behind the scenes stuff, but nevertheless, you imagine most of that's got to be, the story. So it's like I'm terrified to read it and listen to it.
I'd be terrified to read it as well.
Well, yeah, it relates to the book first, but yeah, it's just Tom Baker commenting over that.
Well, then
actually,
it would be all.
I did actually, because they had like a sale. I did buy another one of the missing storyboards. I actually did buy a William Hartnell box set of that, which has Farewell Great Macedon and the Fragile Yellow Ark of Fragrance. I don't know exactly when they were written for. I'd probably need to look into them a bit more, but this is actually still in its wrapping as well, so. They do want to listen to that at some point. That's exactly my point. I got so many here, I just need to listen to them, really.
Yeah.
But they keep having so many offers, and I keep thinking, well, I kind of want this. I kind of want that. But I need to stop.
I need to kind of
listen to the ones I currently have.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot which I currently have.
Yeah. Wow. I haven't got too much Big Finish. I've got like I got the Sixth Doctor Regeneration one because
I bought you that one.
Yeah, and that one I really enjoyed listening to. Yeah, banging, really good. But yeah, I find audio a bit hard to listen to. I'm always quite visually distracted. I think I need to find my method of listening to things and take them in, because I'm good at podcasts because I can cook and stuff at the same time, so I can kind of tune in and out and keep up with the conversation. But like, in a plot like Doctor Who, it's like I tried to do that and I was like, what the hell's happening now? So it's like
I always find I kind of lie down usually with a pillow over my face, kind of like covering my eyes just in complete darkness, and then just picture kind of what's going on and have that kind of play out in my head as if I was watching a story.
Maybe I should try
that. It's kind of how I always find to do it. I mean, usually I let the odd one off here and there, but usually I'll focus on specific kinds of time. So, like, I got a lot of Time War stuff. I have a volume of John Hurt's, I have 2 volumes of Derek Jacobi's War Master, and I have 3 volumes of the Time War. And then I collected all the David Tennant's adventures. So I have like the original one here, which I didn't get this one signed in the end. I was gonna get Catherine Tate to sign that one, but I never did in the end. And I got the 2 other volumes of his here, although I haven't yet listened to the third one. I do need to get to that. These are limited too, which is cool. Actually, I think so. Same with the
6.1 would be. And
what number did you get on that? I don't know if you got it on you or.
I don't have it here, but
I don't have it here. Yeah, mine says 7,859 out of 10,000. So it's actually kind of late.
Yeah, I know that stuff I've got limited numbers of is the Series 5 Steelbook. I got that one. I somehow managed to get the limited edition light at the end 50th anniversary one like years later at the Bedford.
Yeah, you did.
Con.
I remember that. Because I've only got the regular one, so
I've got
just like the regular disc.
Yeah.
Although it is signed by Paul McGann, so
nice.
And Jeffrey Beavers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I got what else did I get? I got the 50th anniversary box set, which I was so happy to get because they only made 10,000 of that one.
I think that was the only way to get Adventure in Time and Space on Blu-ray.
I only got the normal disc, sadly.
Because I think they only released that on DVD otherwise.
Yeah. Sadly, I only got normal disc because this is at the point where I didn't have Blu-ray. I wish I got Blu-ray, though it wasn't as nice. It was nicer with like the normal packaging, the normal DVD packaging, because it was this lovely like brown like Time Lord. It was like the moment kind of thing. It was like the moment, and you got Night of a Doctor on DVD. You got Adventure in Space and Time. You got Day of a Doctor. You got Time of a Doctor. So it was really nice because obviously like on my shelf I'd only had series box sets, but then Day of a Doctor and Time of a Doctor weren't released in a series box set, and I was like, no, it's going to look ugly on my shelf, because I mean they made Time of a Doctor, like the spine of it wasn't super nice. It was like white and Christmassy and had like Matt Smith's face on it, and I was like, nothing wrong with Matt Smith's face, but like next to all my very sleek series box sets which had the logo and, you know, just look kind of sleek, I was like, oh no. And that's why I'm a bit worried when it's coming up to like the steel books. Like, will they include it in the Series 7 one? Will they make a special...
They'll probably have to.
Will they make a special 50th anniversary one which just has all of it?
I mean, I do already own it on Blu-ray because I actually think I just got it in CX, but I got it Day of the Doctor on its own, the Blu-ray 3D version.
I would love to watch it in 3D again.
See it in 3D. Hey, I would too.
Maybe I would buy a 3D TV one day. Just one which has that capability.
My grandparents had one, so yeah, I did watch a lot in 3D actually at the time. Although they don't now, they just got a standard 4K one.
Side question. Not that anyone's interested. Did it make normal TV 3D then, or was it only specific shows?
There were specific channels for it, which were like stuff which was tailored specifically for it. So there was a BBC 3D channel for a while, and there was some channels that kind of had that. Not many, really.
It didn't pick up.
There were a few things honed in on that, and you could get 3D Blu-rays.
Yeah, you still can sometimes.
There was a button on the remote where you could give some of your TV shows a bit of depth, but it was like certain things a little bit of depth, but it didn't work that great. So
I never got to play around with one, sadly.
It was all kind of faked. I think, you know, they had to.
Yeah. It was.
So it didn't. Of course, it didn't work nearly as well as anything that was actually, you know, built with that in mind. It's quite fun because, like, I remember at one point, because I used to with my 3DS, of course, you can take like 3D pictures with that. I remember you could just take like the SD card out of that, plug it into the TV, and then you could just view your pictures in 3D on the TV, and that was like, this is sick.
Back in the day. But I'd love to get them like the Marvel movies, and like, because you can get those like 4K DVDs, you know, like with the black and silver casing. They have a 3D in there. I'd quite like to be able to do that. I think just
I'd
to see
love
some
a
of them.
4K Blu-ray.
I'd love
We've
to
been
see.
talking about it for ages here, to be honest. But it's like they're so expensive.
I'd love to watch Doctor Strange again. I think in 3D would be epic.
That'd be great.
I remember really enjoying that in 3D. That was sick.
Oh, we should have because we all saw Force Awakens at IMAX. We should have a reunion for that.
Yeah, not after how the rest of it shaped up. But The Mandalorian's sick. I need to watch episode 4 actually.
Yeah, I need to watch episode 4. I've watched the first 3. So.
My mate said it's sick, episode 4, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I guess getting back to limited stuff, I got the Regeneration box set.
Oh
limited.
yeah. See, the reason why I didn't get that is because I knew that Matt Smith was going to be regenerating that year anyway. But it was good at the time because you got the 10th planet early.
Yeah.
Which was cool. And it is quite nice.
The only reason I got it is because I didn't own any of the episodes, which were, most of those Regeneration episodes beyond Parting of the Ways and...
I think you had Caves of Androzani at that point.
I had the Gopper Boys. I didn't have the Caves of Androzani at that point.
I think you would have, because we watched it in Austria, which was before the 50th anniversary.
No, but they released the DVD box set early. I thought I brought that, didn't I? I don't think I had Caves of Androzani beforehand.
Oh, yeah, no, it was... Because it was on the Caves of Androzani, did we watch it, I think. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, but it was a cool set. I mean, you get, a little descriptor. It's like a book, just like DVDs at the side. And the cover's cool because, of course, it depicts Matt Smith regenerating, of course.
Yeah, I think, my struggle with those kind of box sets is because they become dated so quickly. Like, as soon as enough a Doctor regenerates, it's like, well, this is... incomplete
yeah, but I
now.
find it's kind of a...
It's a nice snapshot of history, though.
It's a snapshot of history, yeah. I think the other limited edition thing I can think of was that I got the limited edition multi-pack of playing cards, where you had, Series 1 playing cards, Series 2 playing cards, and Series 3 playing cards, and that was, a numbered limited edition.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know what else.
But I think the edges got sun damage, so that's a shame.
Yeah, I need to be careful, actually. My DVDs might get... I need to move my stuff actually because it's like you can see my window back there behind me. The sun kind of hits my DVDs and I can notice.
Yeah.
I noticed my Lord of the Rings one's getting a bit decolored, so I need to move my.
Yeah, that happened to a couple of my Target novels, the edges of them, which is a bit of a shame. It's kind of quite difficult to avoid considering how mine's is positioned at the minute. So
I'm gonna move my most important DVDs. Like the Lord of the Rings box set.
Actually, that's why, because I used to have some of my signed DVDs just along the top of my shelf there. But I started to notice that. I mean, it was very, very subtle fading, but it was a little bit. So I was just like, I'm not really comfortable with this, so I'm gonna take it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, limited edition though. Obviously, haven't been getting those lovely Blu-ray series of. I would have gobbled those up if I was a young kid and those came out. I would have gobbled up those Blu-ray sets.
If it was relevant, and if the difference was sufficient enough. But of course, being that we're looking at,
I spent all those years collecting the single DVDs as well. I feel like to replace all of them would just be kind of like taking a big dump on my past.
In my case, especially considering how many of them have now got signed, it's like
they
mean more than just being DVDs. They are my history with the show and my experiences over the past 7 years of going to conventions and doing all this stuff and meeting all these people. They mean a lot more than just simply being DVD versions of these episodes. So that's why I find, I don't think I'll ever replace them with anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I look forward to when they do the Series 6 Steelbook. I think that'll be, I guess, next year, because it's yearly now, isn't it? Though the specials in Series 5 came out pretty quickly.
They did.
But there was a year between 3 and 4. Don't know.
I don't know exactly how they're doing
They know. And we'll buy it when it comes out. I mean,
but it's not. I mean, this will be the first time I've actually owned. Because I've owned most. I've owned Series 5 before, and in fact, I had the original Steelbook for it, the one with the crack, because I found it in a CEX, just
Yeah, I know. Limited edition. I don't get these people, but
that's another limited edition thing, actually. I guess. I owned both parts of Series 7, but I've never on Blu-ray. I've never owned Series 6, and I've never owned 8 or 9. Yeah, and I haven't got beyond 10 because I bought 10 specifically so I could get John Sim to sign it. So I have that on Blu-ray.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't get Series 3 signed by Johnson.
I did. I got him to sign that, and I got him to sign my because I didn't actually have the collection of Series 3 at the time. So actually, I can maybe show that. I got him to sign instead. This.
Ah, right, yeah.
Because that's what I had at the time, the last volume of the Series 3. So I got him to sign this instead of like because I didn't have a Series 3 box set at the time. I don't think the either the steelbook wasn't out or I didn't think at the time that they could sign it properly because like I was worried about like, well, would it stay? Would it just rub off? What would happen if I got them to sign the steelbook? Turns out it's fine, and I got, of course, Christopher Eccleston and Joel Barrowman to sign my Series 1.
That's
so
cool.
I haven't.
That's good to know because I would love the steelbooks to kind of get signed because they are gorgeous.
Yeah, it stays on just fine. So, but yeah, at the time, like I think I was concerned. I don't remember if it was even released or not. But yeah, I got this, and then I got the Series 10 box set signed by John Sim. So, they were the two I got by him.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice guy too.
We'll go
nice to meet him, and then long after, I even saw him see him perform live doing Macbeth at the Chichester Festival Theatre. So, and that was like only like not too only like a few months apart. So like I got to meet him, then I got to see him perform like live in not a relatively short space of time. So that was cool.
Actor. I need to watch Life on Mars.
Same, yeah.
Speaking of old stuff, if anyone's bored at the minute, The Second Coming is an old Russell T two-parter. It's on YouTube. You can find it, and it's Christopher Eccleston as basically the second Jesus, and it is awesome. It is so good, and definitely worth a watch. Stuck inside. It's a very very interesting, very good watch, and yeah, it's crazy. Like that is like. Yeah, Christopher Eccleston. That's like how he came across Russell T, and it's very very good. And obviously Mark Bond's in it as well. It's kind of crazy. And then the lady who plays Sylvia in Midnight, she's the main lady. Oh. So she's just a fantastic actress. And yeah, because I was watching, I was like, I recognise you from somewhere. Like, where the hell have you been? And it really shows that like writers do kind of like try and, especially when you're a writer producer, recycle like people they've worked with before because they know and they can tailor roles. And like she was perfect for the role in Midnight, and she was great in this role in The Second Coming. So yeah, I think Julia, I think's her first name, can't remember her last name, but yeah, fantastic actress. But yeah, that's a really good watch. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up. There's not much else to talk about. I think happy 10 years to Matt Smith.
He's not 10 years old, Nick.
Well, no, happy 10 years anniversary kind of thing for 11th Planet.
I know he looks young, but...
yeah, the youngest actor to ever take on the role of the Doctor. But no, I mean, I look back very nostalgic. I remember at the time we were like, oh no, the show's not great, like...
No, that came later.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Series 5 was negative. Again, I don't think I was ever quite as enthralled in it at the time as I had been previously, but it wasn't negative at this point. This is like, okay, yeah.
Still not a fan of the title sequence, though. I'm just going to say that. I'm like...
I don't like the opening, like, the little... like prelude, I guess.
I just don't like. I'm not a fan of any of it. Like it never gets me pumped like the freaking David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston one. Like, and I think that's still something they're missing now. There's nothing that gets the adrenaline running like that first series. It's like nothing. It's like it was fast paced. The TARDIS was like it was the drums. It was the violins. Da 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 da. Like really staccato, and and the TARDIS was like smashing its way through the time vortex. It was going fast. It was like, we're going to take you on an adventure whether you like it or not kind of thing. It's like, like you're coming along. And it was, it was fast paced and the TARDIS was moving with like violency. It was violently shaking about the time vortex. And I think it was like going on a roller coaster ride, when you're watching it and you were like zooming through it. But then the Matt Smith one was a lot slower. It was kind of just...
Well, the original one, yeah. I liked his later one actually quite a bit. I think that's a very underrated one.
Oh, the one that was like used for 8 episodes and then got rid of.
Yeah, I actually really like that one.
I like. It was good at the time, but also like it's very
It does have
picturey.
that kind
It's
of
very
motion. It does the
2D.
whole thing with the
It's
face
got.
and the clouds.
I liked the idea. I think it just needed to be a bit more 3D. It looked like it looked a bit like our intro, where it's just kind of flat 2D layers flying past the camera, rather than having any like substance 3D layers to it. Um, I think the minimalism of the series one to specials is what's great. You know, a lot of the screen is black in that, and it's like the void. You know, what's outside of this vortex? You know, like it's scary, and that's what's more interesting. Then 12th Doctor's one was just too. I like the clock bit at the start was fine, but then the vortex was just a bit dead. With the planets flying around, I don't know. I don't know. To me, it was a bit. I don't know. Never really sat with me.
I mean,
Great.
a lot of the classic ones tended to go for that kind of black background with like the void happening in front of it.
Yeah, the series, the first and second Doctors one are still probably my more favorite ones. I did enjoy the fifth Doctor. I just never really got the fourth and the third Doctor's later one. I never.
I like the fourth Doctor's one though. I found the third Doctor's one was a bit odd because they had him like the actual full body of the Doctor going through as opposed to just the head.
That was weird.
It's kind of bizarre. No, but I really like the fourth Doctor one actually. I think that's ranked right amongst my favourites.
I don't know. Just never. I don't know. Maybe.
I really like the colours to it, and it was such a cool
colours
kind of effect that they did to it. Like especially for the time, it looks really quite stand out for the time which it was kind of being broadcast. Like the effects that they used to kind of get the vortex effect moving was cool, and I did like what they did with the shapes and like how they like the logo came in as a square and made the whole vortex kind of squared, and the head kind of it all shaped it. And
no, I can understand that. I think seventh Doctor one I quite like actually.
I'm really very very fond of that one.
Not a fan of the logo, but apart from that, all good. Like the Who's fine. It's the weird Doctor.
It has that kind of 80s charm.
It does. It does have a charm
I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the eighth Doctor intro is a solid one. The movie one, like the vortex through space, like it's I don't know.
It's a bit slow for me.
Well, it's because it's the movie and they're doing all the whole credits, isn't it?
I know, but
I like.
I mean, glad that they actually kept the theme because I think that was a thing that they discussed at one point was not having it.
Nah, you gotta
at some point or another. It's I
quite like the rendition of the theme as well. It's very grand. It's very movie-esque.
I used to have that as my Skype ringtone actually. I don't think that's very good for making you pick up the phone, the call necessarily.
You're just listening to it like yeah.
Because you only start with the very beginning bit, of course. And
I think the new one though, Jodie's one is a step in the right direction. I think somewhat.
Yeah, well, it's kind of just a modernised version of William Hartnell's, really.
Yeah,
is what it is. Like a bit more of a something to it, I guess.
My question is though,
the actual intro itself. Sorry.
Does it sell the show? That's my question. Like,
it's not very eye catching.
It's not like is it like even the original like William Hartnell one and Patrick Troughton? It doesn't really tell you what the show's about, but then you got to understand, like, back then they couldn't make a 3D TARDIS fly through a vortex, like, it's interesting.
But it was groundbreaking. What drew you in then was how groundbreaking it was, the effect that they used to actually get the time vortex looking as it did, as well as the actual sounds of the theme itself was so distinctly different from anything else at the time.
Which
that
made it stand
inherently draw people in. Nowadays, it's like, what draws you in about Jodie's? Like, it's a bunch of like as a fan it's cool to see an updated version of what they were going for originally and the same with the theme, but to like the outsider it's just like what on earth is
shapes,
this? It's like weird bubble things. It goes round and like they split, and
it is interesting. I think like maybe they're slightly missing something. I don't know what it would be, but there was this one guy I can't remember.
Good writers.
I think they're good writers. It's just as recently noticed. I think Jodie's Doctor works better in script form than being acted out form. Like the personality is all very much going on in the head, and you can't really express that on screen without having to make it I'm going to talk to myself now, which just becomes a bit irritating. But there was I can't remember the YouTuber now. He made really sick intros. And when like Moffat was saying, "Oh yeah, we're getting the 12th Doctor one," his intro's good after like a YouTube one that I saw.
Yeah.
It's like
It was the clock. Yeah, the clocks was.
and
a
like
concept done by someone.
I thought it was going to be someone else's another YouTuber who made a really sick. He did some really sick ones. Neon Visual. He does really sick intros, and I wish they would like go to this guy. Like they're awesome. I really go look at Neon Visual if you haven't seen it, because his stuff is absolutely unbelievably amazing. His stuff, and I think it really sums up kind of Doctor Who. You know, it's got like the TARDIS flying just through space, and then a bit in the vortex. Like it had the TARDIS, like I think you did a special 50th version where like the TARDIS was flying like past the dome of Gallifrey, and it was so sick. It was very, very cool. And I thought like when like Moffat was saying, "Oh yeah, I found this like sick guy who made a really good intro online," I thought it was going to be Neon Visual, and sadly it was not. But the clock idea I quite liked.
I figured it was going to be the clock. So I did see the clock one before.
I think I had as well.
They changed it into the theme. And yeah, no, I thought
I like the
clock. He was talking
bit.
about it like because I think right off the bat he was saying like, "Oh, this is the most unique kind of progression I think I've seen in the title." It was something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what he said about it, but like I was thinking at the time, yeah, it's probably going to be that one, and sure enough,
it was like I liked the clock bit. It was the bit after the clock bit which I thought was the weakest part of the intro. I thought they should have just kept it cogs the whole time, maybe, or you know, like just like it was flying through a clock. Like I always think, what about like one where it's set like in the interior of the TARDIS, like it's going through like the column and then into like the vortex or something interesting like that. I felt like Matt Smith's one, you could have really, and the 12th Doctor's TARDIS, you really could have taken elements from that and made it quite interesting. The intro, like using the TARDIS, but like the interior of the TARDIS is a motive to like tell you that they're going back, you know, forward or back in time. You know, you could even go through the doors of a TARDIS. Like I think, was it? I don't know. Like none of them. I think it might have been Neon Visuals or another one used like the TARDIS doors would come towards the screen and open up, and then it would be you'd go into the TARDIS and into the adventure. Or maybe it was Matt Smith's one that did that. The second one, did that happen at the end, or did it just end with the? I think it just ended with the vortex, didn't it? None of them's done that. But I've seen a YouTube one do it though, which was really cool. Like, I feel like maybe you could do an intro in like in just doing something that encapsulates the show a bit more. So I think having the TARDIS is actually quite pinnacle in the intro. Because at the minute, when you look at the new Doctor Who logo, you don't know it's Doctor Who until you see the logo. Like if you were...
unless you know the theme.
Unless you know the theme.
Most people do.
A lot of people do. But say you're kind of a young kid and it's like you've seen this kind of blue box around, maybe in... you know, on streets, you know, in like merchandise and stuff. You're like, what's that? And then you're flicking through channels, you see that intro, you're like, what the hell's this? And you flick past it. But if you saw the TARDIS straight away, you'd be like, oh, this is the box which relates to this. You know, like, it's important. Like Rose, when it aired, it starts with the intro. Like, we start with the Doctor Who intro. There was no pre-credits. We went straight for the intro. And you see the box. So then when the Doctor's walking towards the TARDIS later in the episode, you're like, oh, it's the box thing. It's the box from the intro, and it, you know, it's like it's that extra intrigue which I think is important. But yeah, I think maybe I don't know. I like the intro, the current one. I think it's the stronger one that we've had, maybe the strongest one since David Tennant's. But I still think David Tennant's Series 4 specials is...
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
Which one would you say is stronger then?
Not in the slide, no.
What would you say is the stronger one?
Other than Matt Smith's one, I've liked pretty much all of them, to be honest.
No,
but Matt Smith's original one, should I say. I've actually kind of like the theme itself kind of, yeah.
If I was
But like,
ranking them though, I prefer Jodie's one above the 12th. I didn't like the 12th
I wouldn't
Doctor's
agree on
music
that.
at all.
I wouldn't agree with that. But
I found the 12th Doctor's one really screechy when it was doing the theme. It was like the pheromone, like.
yeah, but it pumped me up far more than Jodie's has. Like,
Is that more the
Jodie's is very
story
much
though?
like more, I guess, going for that slightly more ambient, slightly more mystery vibe to it. But like, that doesn't really
It doesn't
like
pump you up.
it doesn't intrigue me to want to watch the show. I guess it's not like this is exciting. I'm ready to watch
Yeah.
stuff.
I think it definitely needs to go back to super dramatic. Let's do it, kind of Doctor Who. That's what needs to go back. The theme, I think it needs to go back to that. We're going on an adventure, you're coming along, there's going to be danger. I think it's Series 5, Series 4 specials. I mean, the later one with the drums is definitely the stronger one of the two. But, it's kind of hard to beat that because you kind of hit it out the park there. And you could kind of tell when Murray Gold was doing later versions. I think that was the issue. Murray Gold had done his best version in the first version, so it was like, well, where the hell do I go from here?
Yeah.
So when it came to the Matt Smith one, and like the two versions of that, and then the 12th Doctor one, I think it was like, well, these are like my backup ideas, it's hard, I think. I mean, I love all the rest of Murray Gold's music's fantastic, but like I felt like you make the theme once, you're gonna make your best theme, aren't you? So it's like, how do you come at something again and make it not the best? Like that was his voice was put into that first one, so yeah. But yeah. Well, I think that kind of wraps up nicely. Doctor Who things. Yeah, but there we go. Week 3, we did it. I'm very proud of us. Very nice. So yeah, there we go. Let us know below what you think, of conventions and 10 years on since Matt Smith and the music and title sequences.
If anybody's watching this.
If anybody's watching this, most likely no one, but screw it.
No.
But hey ho.
Give it last week's.
Yep. Oh well.
Well, self-indulgence, right?
We don't share it enough. That's probably half the reason. We're not gonna... I don't know. It's time and effort, isn't it? We're busy people.
Well, not as much now, but...
Oh, mate.
I mean, you're still busy.
Yeah.
And I am, but there are more gaps.
To be fair, average view duration was 45 minutes on our last one, so that's not too bad.
I guess, yeah. We appreciate you, whoever that is.
2 views.
We do appreciate you.
Yeah.
Whoever stuck by and watched it for 45 minutes.
You did good. Yeah. Nice. Well, there we go. We'll see you guys next week for the 1-2 viewers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right. Well, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week.